Hi everybody. Today we're going to discuss how ForeSight can assist Salesforce admins in identifying the technical debt that has accumulated for any Salesforce org. So first, let's cover what actually includes the technical debt. It includes inactive validation rules, flows, processes, and workflow rules, profiles and permissions that are not assigned to anyone, dashboards that are not used, metadata other than those that have been mentioned that are also not used anymore, like custom settings, and third-party packages that were removed and not used. So let's start. First of all, I'd like to start with the early detection and the used metadata and inactive processes. Let's start with the fields. In the Panaya portal, under Overview, you can go to Potential Technical Debt in your org, and here you'll see a list of all the fields, custom settings, and custom metadata. Each time we can see the number of indicators that allows us to easily understand what fields can be removed due to their rare usage. For each field, it's possible to drill down in order to understand things a bit better, what reference this field may have and its impact. When you see just the number reference, it can still have a big impact, either direct or indirect, as you may see in this scenario. The second thing I'd like to do is look at the automation overview, since this is the first step in clearing our inactive automations, both no-code like workflows, process builder, and flows, but also code-based like Salesforce Apex triggers. We can easily do this via automation overview, and we can select inactive. On the left, we'll see all the inactive processes, and we can also group them by record object inactive flag. From here, we can export the list to an Excel spreadsheet in order to know what we can deactivate and actually go ahead inside any of these inactive automations, look into them in Salesforce, and clean them. After cleaning the automations part, we would like to see some components other than automations, so under Overview, we go to All Components. On the left, it's possible to create a list view of all inactive components without automations. Here, we can easily track important components such as inactive email templates, approval processes, validation rules, record types. For each one, we can check them and remove them from within Salesforce. Also, for some specific components, we can also create the list view of things that are unused. For example, we can select only custom settings and metadata types that aren't actually referenced anywhere, like here, we set the flagged impacted components to 0. We can then look into them further, check their impact, and easily remove them. Additional types that we may want to look into are the third-party components. Sometimes third-party package components that are installed are not used, and we can uninstall them from the system. We have the ability here to list all of them and drill down again if needed. Some additional things we can do is to look into some metadata based on our customized indicators. For example, if we have some metadata indicators in the org for some fields, it will allow us to see those fields that are not in use. For example, if there is a governance principle in our org that the field names are intended to be removed, we can click Deprecated and we'll see a list of all components that may have that field with the deprecated string. Some additional things we can do is we can look into the organizational overview, and from there, go ahead and see the list of the profiles created and unassigned. Maybe they forgot to do it and we can just remove it. That's easy, the technical debt. And we can do the same thing with the permissions that may still be in our org. We can clean each and every one of them. One additional thing, let's go ahead and see the usage in our Salesforce reports and dashboards, which are very rarely used. Under Components, we'll go ahead and select Unused Reports and Dashboards. We'll see just the usage flag, and we do see mainly reports and dashboards, and visual force pages which are unused or rarely used. We can again export them, clean them, and look into them further. An additional thing that's very important is the Salesforce formula fields. These can easily lead to Salesforce limits. So we'd like to look into all fields that are custom fields, formula fields, as they relate to components, or at least with a number of references for different components inside the fields. Here we can see that some of our formula fields have a lot of components that are referenced, so we can go ahead and look into those formula fields inside Salesforce. So we'll go ahead and log in, and then we'll see that we have the field that has many references, and we can try to edit this field and run a syntax check. We'll see that it's already around 3,000 bytes, so any additional changes may approach the length limit when saved, so may not allow us to make any changes to this formula. So, ForeSight allows us to easily clean the technical debt, an ongoing task that's strategic for any Salesforce team who wants to maintain a clean organization.